Good morning. In this morning Bible class, we were studying about returning to the old paths, right? And we were seeing that it is of great importance that we return to having an effective Bible study in our daily lives individually, but also have effective Bible studies as a church. And we saw that there's a time that we need to learn, because there's a commandment in Matthew chapter 28, verse 19, where it says, "Ye go and make disciples." So we ourselves need to have an effective study in learning how to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we saw that in Matthew chapter 28, verse 20 states that Christ says, after you are baptized and someone is baptized, he says, teaching them everything that I have commanded. And I'll be with you until the end. So we ourselves have to go into learning Christ's teachings. And we were saying that we ourselves need to go into Matthew, Mark, Luke, John to learn about Christ, which is the gospel, to learn about his teachings. And then we said that we also need to learn that after Acts chapter 2, verse 22, where we see Peter's preaching of the gospel, we see that the church growth was at that time almost about 3,000 people that obeyed the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we see and learn how in Acts chapter 2, verse 22, the Apostle Peter preaches and teaches us how to teach the gospel of Christ. And then we see that in Acts chapter 2, verse 42, they continue saying in regards of those that were baptized that they persevered in the teachings of the apostles, which we continue seeing Matthew chapter 28, verse 20, where he says, teaching them everything that I have commanded. Unfortunately, this morning I'm going to continue the lesson in regards of they started growing fast, but also as human beings, problems starting to emerge into the church. And there was a need. There was a need, which this morning, this lesson, I'm going to speak in regards to that of the elders and deacons. We read that the Bible teaches us in regards to that growth. The problem starts to emerge. We see in Acts chapter 6, verse 1 through 6, which we're going to continue learning in regards about it in this lesson. There was a situation where there was widows that were unattended. So there was a need where the apostle says that they can't get away from the most important thing, that was teaching about Christ and preaching God's plan through his son. So they needed to establish men to serve. The word deacon only means somebody that is a servant. So they established this man. As we continue reading in Acts chapter 14, verse 23, we see that there was a need to establish elders. So they established elders in each congregation. It is imperative that we understand that we ourselves need to return to the old paths. The church is suffering all over the places at this time. So we ourselves need to have the knowledge and understanding of the elders and deacons, their requirements, but also their responsibilities for the church, for Christ, and most important for God. And this morning, we will take our lesson, what the Apostle Paul writes to Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 3, where we're going to be taking our lesson from verse 1 through 13. 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 13. In this scripture, we're going to see first the elders. In chapter 3, verse 1 through 7, the Bible reads as follows. It is a trustworthy statement. If any man aspires to the office of overseers, it is a fine work he desires to do. In the New Testament, the word bishop, the word elder, the word pastor, the word, as we see here, overseer, is for the same men. It's someone that is used to lead, to preach, to teach, to, like you see in this verse, to oversee the spiritual life of each person in the congregation. So